Hello, everyone, and welcome to the
Who Cares podcast.
My name is Cookie,
This is Jello.
It's Ashi here.
and today's topic, and as you can see, kami lang po tatlo. Wala lang gusto mag-guest sa aming show. But yes, today's topic is very close to home, very close to us, and I think a lot of Filipinos can also relate to this topic because it's something that everyone, not really everyone, but a lot of Filipinos want to get into because of its current I would say what do you call that? Reputation. Malapit mo kasi mag-release ng album si Taylor Swift. So I had to mention Reputation.
Friday, di ba?
Yeah. It's this weekend. So, yes, it's all about being a virtual assistant. And for those who do not know, actually, the three of us are virtual assistants, except po kay Jello. No, just kidding. Isa po siyang member ng...
Na po,
SB19.
DPWH contractor.
Yes, and what are we going to talk about today, Mari?
Yeah, so virtual assistants, it's the dream job, isn't it? Jello just recently discovered about virtual assistant
Yeah.
as well. So a lot of people right now wanted to get into that industry because of the comfortability of a lot of things. But there are also stereotypes that we want to talk about later.
True.
Yeah, so today we'll talk about the highs, the lows, and the myths people believe about this career.
Exactly. So join us. But first, before we really talk about the enumeration po ni Jel, let's really define what a virtual assistant is. So thank you so much, ChatGPT. A virtual assistant is someone who works remotely to help businesses or clients with tasks like admin work, technical support, or creative projects. Or pwede din pong
I mentioned this before, 'di ba? When I go home, parang if people ask me unsay akong trabaho, what is my job, and I tell them I'm doing virtual assistant work. They think it's just you in front of your computer talking to a FAMS.
pwede
Which
din
is
pong ganon.
like yeah, in Filipino setting, yes, because you're gonna be talking to foreigners, but hindi. It's it's a skill based na job. It's not just the thing that people are used to, where you have I mean there are lawyers who are doing virtual
Yeah.
assistant work, different professions, but yeah. um my thought was virtual assistant before was labeled differently, and we will talk about what actually a virtual assistant task is.
Exactly. And we'll start with the highs because I think it became very popular nowadays because of the perks that comes with a job. So we'll talk about that. So, Mari, you want to share your highs as, a virtual assistant?
Yeah, I really started as a virtual assistant back in 2015, like officially, because
Mhm.
I wanted to practice my course after I graduated. I also tried, there's a lot of things that you can do online, right? There's a lot of jobs you can do online. So one of those is a che- as a as a tutor for Japanese students. So I tried that first before actually going into random tasks that I have just learned through the years. So I started as that. The highest really is that with virtual assistants, you have the flexibility and freedom. Like
True.
you work at you work from home. So then you can depend on how efficient you are. Then you get to control your time. And then also for those type of work that doesn't require you to be monitored with a timer, or because there are virtual assistant work that
Yeah.
really monitors your
Yep.
screen or something
Yeah,
like that,
very
which
strict.
luckily I've never tried. But if you have that type of virtual assistance work where it's results driven,
Mm.
output focused, then you can actually go to the beach, go on vacation, just really having the freedom, and also working at the same time. So there is also the high income, because depending on the client,
Salary reveal.
there are my first client when I was ang dami kong ano ha. So I also had, after I was tutoring for Japanese, I was like, it's not my cup of tea. I'm not gonna be talking to kids, because there are a high mix of people that I get to talk to. So some are lawyers that just wants to converse in English. Some are really kids that really want to talk about grammar. So I also tried social media. My client was from Scotland, so, and Ireland, mga land. So the pay was really good because they're euros, 'di ba? Euros, 'di ba? Yeah. So hindi niya alam anong currency. And then there's US clients, there are AU clients, and there are different conversions, and then bagsak ang ating peso. That benefits the those that are earning dollars. Yeah, it's the conversion that's really um a positive. It's a good high. What about you, Maddie?
For me, it's definitely, especially recently, wherein I tried like a different schedule. Because I really started out as a call center agent, so it's not, I didn't start out as a VA first. I've been with a BPO company for 9 years, and then transitioned to being a full-time hair and makeup artist. Oh, naman, meron po. Actually, interview talaga to. Tell us about yourself. No, just kidding. And then when the pandemic came, that's when I was exposed to the VA world. So, what do you call that? Of course, I would say from a corporate world that you have to commute every day, you have to go to the office, you have to really get ready. That kind of yung parang that extra step of getting ready for work is eliminated because you can work from home, right? Again, no traffic, no commute, mas marami akong time with my pets. That's definitely a high. And of course, this is one thing that I also appreciate. You get to work with different, international clients,
Yeah.
different personalities. You get to learn a lot from these people, from startups to yung parang CEOs that are really, anong tawag dyan? Seasoned din. So yeah, it's the opportunity to work with different international clients. Hindi naman po found. No, just kidding.
Hindi, afam talaga yung goal eh.
Anyways, how about you, my friend?
Well, for me, I wasn't really exposed to the BPO company since 2024. Coming from a corporate world, so it's a ano tawag nito, parang not very different naman from a corporate world setup. It's just that during pandemic medyo mas na expose ako doon kasi we had a hybrid na setup
Oh, yes.
na lalo na
True,
yung
no?
oo,
Correct.
lalo na yung grabe yung lindol ay katong grabe ang lino gani na nahitabo during 2019 and then pandemic came. So I think mas na expose ko ato and a lot of people were also
Businesses,
exposed to
yeah.
the BPO
Yeah.
kind of setup or especially the
Correct.
work from home setup
Correct.
which is more beneficial to a lot of people kay 'di ba as you said no need for you to really commute daily.
Yeah.
And for me, ano po siya kanang tawag ani less ang time to prepare and then
Yeah.
with sa comfort lang sa imong home mabuhat na nimo imong trabaho especially sa katong giingon ni Mama Dina kanang if ang imong company nga na trabahoan is output based and dili gid gina-monitor kaayo ang imong mga daily gani nga ginabuhat, di ba? Kay
Yes.
as you said na po yung mga ingana na company nga kanang tawag ana ingana pod ang ilahang way of so makaadto pod ka like pare atong nag-Japan ko this year, 'di ba? Murag naka-work gihapon while
Yeah.
ay naka-vacation while doing your job. So it's really a privilege nga kanang naka-experience ko ging ana na klase nga setup gani nga as long as you have the internet
Yeah.
to do your job,
Yeah.
'di ba?
Pero coming from a corporate na work and then you transitioned into online, di ba at some point in pandemic, nakaana po ang mga corporate na pwede raman di ay i-work from
Yeah.
home ang mga bagay-bagay. Bakit kailangan talaga nating mag-opisina?
So hello dyan.
Oo, na-high pod sila dito.
Pero actually I think
Na-realize pod nila.
ang adaptability sa corporate world was changed good due to
Correct.
pandemic kay
Diba?
daghan na pod og mga corporate company na kana ganing even after pandemic nag-implement gihapon sila og hybrid setup
Yes.
kay katong na kita man nila nga pwede man di ay nga mabuhat lang as long as dili ma-compromise ang quality and ang interest sa company.
Yeah, that's true. But there's also because I recently met up with my ex BPO friends, and there was one executive who said na people are also returning back to the office because they feel more productive now if they are in the office kasi nga they have their own workspace. So not everyone has that yung parang luxury to have their own workspace. But yeah, it has different sides to it. Since we talked about the highs and the lows, the highs is really more of freedom. And again, just like what Ashley said, we cannot deny na medyo mataas po ang rate ng
I mean, compared to a Filipino
yeah,
setting na pay,
local
but
job. Yeah.
there are also a lot of out of the country like competitors like India or anywhere else.
True.
The pay is just the same. Like competitive lang yun siya sa Filipino
Mm.
na setting. So dili good na like super big. Pero
Yeah,
if you compare nimo ya.
And
exactly.
I just want to point out ba na dili pod dayon basing mag-expect man gud ang uban nga kanang gusto dayon ko mag-transition into
Yeah.
katong
Mm-mm.
virtual assistants na
Mm-mm.
job kay dako kayo ang sweldo. It's really
Yeah.
not that. Like the two of you man good kay you've really kanang earned your kuan gani play sa BPO gani kay di ba how many years na pod mo sa it's just like in the corporate world ba nga you really have to work
Start.
pod or murag
Yeah.
if you wanna go up to the ladder pod sa corporate world kailangan pod nimo magsugod sa baba, 'di ba? Nga
Exactly.
i-establish pod nimo ang imong set of skill sets nimo or
Yes.
kanang imong especially relationship nimo with um
Clients.
the clients and also to
True.
your team pod ing ana pod. So dili lang gid siya nga kanang murag one time big time dayon nga kanang maski wala pa kay experience murag mag-expect dayon ka nga high paying na pod dayon, 'di ba? Kay
True.
kay kanang
True.
murag mas malimtan na sa uban nga kanang ginaisip nila na ay mag-ano na lang ko uy murag mo
Yeah,
quit
because
na lang ko kay 'di ba dako man
say
bayad diri ana.
say for example, Jel, you're a graphic designer, so you make logos, pero wala kay portfolio, wala kay
Yes.
proof that you have
Yeah.
already established these kinds of brands for clients. So do not expect na
'Di
maka-receive
ba?
din ka og ingon ana nga for a project.
Exactly, exactly. So now that we're talking about the other side, the other side of being a virtual assistant, we talked about the highs earlier, the perks. Now we're going to talk about the downside or the lows of being a
Yes.
virtual assistant. My friend, you want to start?
Yeah, so I think one of the many lows pod sa doing the virtual assistance job is really kanang unstable ang income. Unlike manggod sa kanang if you're in a corporate world 15-30 ang inyong receive sa imong salary si virtual assistants manggod depending on your how many clients you have, 'di ba? And then naapoy mga clients manggod na short term lang ang ilahang
Exactly.
For
need sa
project
imuha or per
based.
project
Yeah.
based lang and then um murag prerogative nila nga if they don't want you to be with them they can just let you go muraging ana gani. So I think muna dapat ang isa pud sa ginaano murag i butang sa hunahuna sa mga VAs na it's not enough nga isa lang pud ang imuhang saligan gani unless siguro kung dugay na gid ka dadto and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
na test na nimo
Na
niya
CEO na
ano
gyud ka sa kadugay.
di ba.
Tagapagmana.
Ikaw na ang tagapagmana.
Mura na kay tagapagmana sa ano sa company kung mag-work ka, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Pero bitaw seriously murag kailangan pud gid na
Take into
yes, take into consideration nga kuan nga murag dili nimo tanan ibutang ang imuhang egg sa isa ka basket pud gid gani. Mo kabalo pud ka mo diversify pud ba nga I need murag assurance pud sa imuhang on your side kay when uh, the tough gets going at least napud kay other na fallback gani, 'di ba?
Exactly. And um another thing that I'd like to share is cuz I've worked with many clients, and it would come as a surprise one day when your contract ends. That's why you really have to come prepared. It's not a parang, compared to our corporate, there's no such thing as forever home when it comes to jobs, but you have to be prepared for how do I say that? For storms. Mga sakuna. So yeah, it's one of the I would definitely I'm one to attest on that. How about you, Maddie?
The lows for virtual assistant or work from home jobs for in my experience, well, there are companies that now that have established their business in the Philippines pero offshore sila. Those types of companies, they have HR, and those companies have na benefits. Pero there are a lot, especially freelance, na doesn't have. I also came from BPO apart from all the, ang dami ko side hustle. Akala mo talaga ilang anak eh. Dami side hustle, girl. Ambot lang anong nag-ingon ato ko. But anyway, nag-BPO sad ko for 4 years. And then sa BPO, you get your HMO,
Sure.
you get your pag-ibig, PhilHealth, all government benefits. Then they do your tax, right? Pero pag freelancer ka, virtual assistant ka, you need to be responsible for those. And they are equally important as any of your insurances. So ikaw ang mag-make sure na you have all these contributions in place. That's one of the downside when Noel convinced me back in, sige gyud ko, dugay na gid siguro kay kuno kay back in was it 2015, right? 2015 when I started with like actual na gyud na full-time na work. Si Noel magsige siya pang-convince, sige na ba murag okay man siguro ka sa kanang kaya na nimo, uy grabe ang imong mga kuan kanang extrovertism.
New word, new learning.
Extroversionalism. Maka-communicate ra ko ana basta kay kaya lagi nimo tapos kung wala man kay PhilHealth because ang ginabuhat mo gud ako sa BPO before. Pag masakit lang ko, I don't feel I feel sick. Magpa-admit ko. Because
Oh,
of the age of true gel. True to life. Oo, lalo na pag murag different tier managerial. So ang room nimo nakabase pud sa imong di ba?
okay.
Position. So
Yeah.
karon ka. Mag-vacations ako, sick leaves ako.
Sa
Pero
hospital.
oo, listen to it go ha.
Mm.
Pinaka number one benefit na favorite na ako sa corporate is the HMO gyud.
That's true.
Because it daghan pod instances when I was already working online that it really drained cash pagka illness na wala ko'y HMO. That's really when I learned na okay, I really need to secure that kay pag wala kay HMO, it's also the first thing na gina-ask sa hospitals pag ma-admit ka, like where's your card. So kana siya, you have to be responsible of the benefits. There's paid leave, although kanang mga paid na leave, you're very lucky to be having paid leaves in a Philippine setting pag ang client nimo like Australia or USA, kasi you'll need to follow kung unsa tong ilang mga holidays na gina-celebrate. So na mga downside like okay, nagkadayawan na mo and all, work lang tayo here. But kasi na sila yung mga selected lang na holidays like they really celebrate Thanksgiving, 4th of July, mga ingonana like. And then kita kay okay, laban lang tayo sa buhay. So na yung mga lows, but yeah.
It's one of the things na we have to adjust, right?
Na-remember na ako ba nga kanang when I started working sa BPO din naabtan ko og kana ganing Holy Week. And that was my first year. 'Di ba I told you friend na kanang weird siya na feeling because working in a corporate world for more than 10 years ba, I've never experienced working on kanang Holy Week. So that was my first time working. Anak ko nga, wala, ani day nino kanang like Good Friday nag-work, Black Saturday. Wala jud ako na experience before. So kanang weird siya na feeling gani nga kanang
Yeah.
mag-work di ayo
Kay sa
ging ani.
Philippines, it's the only holiday ata naga-close ang malls.
Yeah.
Di ba?
Black Friday
Black
and
Friday,
then
di
New
ba?
Year.
Tapos ang ginabuhat nila, manglimpyo lang din mga empleyado.
Mhm.
Oh my God.
Tinuod na. Oh, yes.
Like Gmo, that's the only time that they close.
Yeah.
Pero they need to clean. That's the only
And
time
then
na.
naga-inventory sila on January 1.
Oh, di
Oh
ba?
my
Murag
God.
closing inventory man na
Oo.
nila. That's why
Akala mo
naga-close
holiday,
gud sila.
pero hindi pala.
Sa mga empleyado nila na
Nag-name drop po talaga kami ng mall. Paki-edit out.
Gmall.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I didn't know that. I thought na they allow their employees to go home. Anyways, anything you wanna add, my friend? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So for me, one of the lows of, because everything has its sides naman. It's not always heaven. There are parts of it na I would call downside. And it's something that would happen to you if mukha ka talagang pera. No, just kidding. Because in the virtual assistant world, you're at home and you can control your time. So there are a lot of people who would get multiple clients. They have that freedom. You have that opportunity if you go into the virtual assistant world. It's just that if you don't know when to stop, when to kind of like stop yourself from taking in new clients, really, really, yung parang getting to know when what your limit is, when your limit is, you get burned out. So, hindi naman lahat, I mean, all jobs are difficult, but when it comes to the VA world kasi, since we don't have, I'm not sure for for other companies, but the freedom that you have also has that downside. Kasi nga, you have freedom in time, but at the same time, if you're outcome based or anong tawag dyan, project based talaga, you really have to finish a certain project, parang time does not exist. Parang only overtime ka din. So, it's one of the downsides if you really don't know how to manage, how to set your boundaries as a, a freelance employee. So I would say, yeah, I have experienced that, burnt out. And at the same time, recently I've worked with a US company. So, of course, baliktad po ang ating time zone. I had to work at night, but yeah, so it's one of the adjustments that you have to make where it's not the normal 8 to 5 or 9 to 6 job. So those are the downsides to it. And we have to admit we're not getting any younger, so sleeping at night is something that would revitalize you in a different way compared to sleeping in the morning. So yeah, those are the downsides. Again, my ups and downs. How about, I think Jello shared earlier that you felt a little isolated with.
Yeah, 'di ba kay when I
Unbelievable.
no,
Unbelievable.
pero bitaw na-realize na ako ba na kanang as an extroverted person, struggle di ay siya nga like I'm just speaking for myself ha, basig ang event nung daghan pud
Dili
kayo
ka
nga mga
relate si Cookie.
although nice gyud ang work from home setup kay kadto mas gamay nimo ang imong oras. It's just that na, niabot sa akong time ba na kanang hulo murag mas okay man pud ay no nga face to face pud ang ako ang work kanang ing ana gani kay murag mas siguro I think mas ma
Express ni mo imong self.
or murag mas ma-encourage ko nga kanang mas ganahan ko sa environment nga kana ganing nagid ko daily nga maka-istorya face to face.
I think chismis yan.
No, feeling sa pagka-chismoso lang gid pud yata na ako murag mo to ako na realize.
Feeling din
Pero
namin.
bitaw kanang nakaano ko ana na feeling na kanang murag I feel isolated ba na kana ganing nara ko permanente diri sa ako. Ang maubot yata na-realize na ako ba nga that's why a lot of people working ang kanang work from home setup will go to kanang mga kana ganing mga space kanang mga co-working
Yeah,
space,
Yes.
di ba no?
Oo.
That's why naga proliferate ang katong mga businesses nga co-working space kay it's because I think of that kind of kanang murag
True.
feeling of isolation gani nga para murag ma-break to nila ang
Once in a while.
nga kanang
Which is true.
hawa na pud ko sa akong balay kay murag luod naman diri kanang murag good
Pero
na
naagi
di ba?
makatagal. Naagi
Pero
po
no, amazing no
ganahan gyud sila. Like
na
mao
ano
gyud ang ilang heaven na I want to work all by myself.
pero feeling ako katunang mga ano gyud introverted mostly mga introverted na I
I
think
would like to mention someone. No, just kidding.
kuan lang pud gid yata na kanang mindset lang pud ba, 'di ba nga? If you really want this kind of job, you really have to adapt and
Yeah.
adjust. O naging ana ba kay kanang especially kung mo na pud na imong bread and butter, so you really have to adjust. Wala na kay choice. Ing ana gani.
Alright. But yes, that's definitely true, my friend, because I'm also an extrovert. So there are times where I feel like my workspace feels cramped. So I have to really, go out. Alam na alam nila Ashy yarn. So yeah. Anyways, thanks for sharing those. Now that we have talked about the highs and lows, we'll talk about some of the funny, the controversial, the ano bang tawag dyan? Minsan nakaka-high blood po na stereotypes about being a virtual assistant. So, let's start off. I think I have a personal experience with this type of stereotype. I think Ashley can share, a story or two. But the common stereotype talaga or the common misconception about being a VA is VA lang yan, parang online secretary. What can we share about that?
Well, again, maybe it has changed now, pero
Mm.
before virtual assistant job type of like description was not really introduced sa Philippines. So we are more in the culture side. We think of professions as doctors, lawyers, that has titles like teachers. So they're really not introduced to virtual assistants. So they think, ano lang, computer lang, answer og mga chat. So ano lang. So um wala siguro sila idea how much of a challenge it is to try and clearly communicate with someone who doesn't speak the same language as you, who doesn't have the same culture as you, but also especially who will require a specific skill for you to deliver the type of task and project that they require. So dili lang siya computer lang. You really have to educate yourself. In fact, daghan na kay ano karon kanang education and videos that will
Yeah.
help you really kickstart your journey. Unlike before ba na you really have to learn through experience.
Mm.
Kailangan gid nimo mag false promises sa clients. Yes, kabalo ko ani. Yes, sir. Yes, I know how to do that, and then I'll figure it out later. Ana lang gid. But VA is not just it's a specific set of skills. Like if if graphic designer ka, if project manager ka, if you're
Yeah.
a builder, if you're specific into customer service, which is also a very a good niche, and then there's also the technical side of coders and builders and all. So
True.
specific gid ang skills that you need to also think unsa man ang ako ang kailangan gusto na i-focus, because otherwise if it's too broad, then it's gonna be difficult for you to narrow down unsa man gid ang ako ang gusto nga service nga ihatag sa mga clients that are needing specific types of job.
That's true. Very true. And just like what Eshi said, they may not be part of the typical glorified job, but it really requires special skills. So yeah, it's not just a secretary online. We'd like to debunk that. Okay, another one is madali lang maging VA kahit sino pwede. What can you
No?
say about that, my
Uh,
friend?
dili gud siya sayon. Coming from someone nga who works sa corporate ba, nga kana ganing pagsugod na ako nagtuo ko nga kanang sayon nang tingali ang VA. Uy kana
Mm.
ganing pero I I just want to say ba nga kanang I'm so thankful sa ako ang first company nga VA kay naamo dadto Madi and friend and
Oh,
kanang
really?
the rest of the team nga kanang I'm so thankful gyud nga makaingon gyud ko na kanang one of the best company nga ako ang na kuanan gyud siya kanang na experience gani kay it's because kana ganing even if virtual lang ato ang dili kita nagakita everyday pero ma-feel na ko ang support gani nga kanang kay abangan gyud ka kanang mo to siya manggod ang murag isa sa fear nako ka kanang as a virtual assistant ba nga kanang nag-transition from corporate world gani kay maskin pag naa ko'y experience sa like computer
Mm.
ingana pero dadto na ko na realize pa na lahi di ay ang kanang kanang fast-paced kaayo ang environment sa
Very.
virtual assistants na job kanang dili siya pareha sa corporate world ba nga sa corporate world manggod like sa amoa sa banking bureaucratic ba kana ganing nakaset gyud gani ang kanang
Yeah.
process gani nga kanang dapat ing-ani dapat sa kani nga level mo adto ka sa ing-ani sa kani nga level sa dadto na ko na realize ba na sa VA kailangan gid ka maging kana ganing mas independent ka kana ganing kailangan ka murag kanang maningkamot gyud gani ka nga
Mm.
you don't really have to kanang magsalig lang sa katong imuhang kauban ikaw mismo sa imong kaugalingon dapat mangita murag problem solver ka ba
Proactive
dili
yan.
dapat tanan nga naala bitaw ni siko ni ngani ana gani so dili di siya ing ana so kailangan paspas pud ka mo adapt gani nanod ako nga murag nakaisip ko bang hala hinaya din ako no kay kanang murag nga kanang feeling ako dugay kay ko maka-guess and all that pero kato thankful lang pud gid ko kay naamang gid ang support. I think isa sa mga dapat gyud pud nga i-consider sa katong mag-transition to VA is kanang pilion nilag tarong ang katong company nga ilaha ganing ang ilahang
Yeah.
sudlan kanang proper ang core values especially ang working environment because it's just the same as manggod working sa face to face dili na nato dapat
Correct.
i-separate ba kay although you are working virtually pero kailangan gyapon nimo mag-build og rapport to each other kay na may interdependent man mo with each other, 'di ba? It doesn't necessarily mean na kung work from home ka independent na gid ka dili man murag no man is an island man gihapon, 'di ba? You need one another man to work as a team man gid gihapon, 'di ba? So kadto kailangan gid gihapon nimo nga kanang mag-build gid ka og kanang better relationship sa imong mga ka-teammates kay syempre kung kailangan nimo og assistance kung wala
Especially
kay
online.
maayo na 'di ba
Yeah.
working relationship gihapon unsaon nimo pag human sa task nga gi hatag sa imuha 'di ba so very important gihapon dili gud sa yun ha so kung same lang na gihapon guys same lang na gihapon sa kanang mag-work ka sa corporate world
Yeah.
kailangan gihapon nimo ang katong attitude nga tarong 'di ba kanang kailangan gihapon nimo mosunod sa katong mga rules and regulations nga naa sa company dili basing nagtuo mo ba nga kanang walay proper na kanang rules and regulations ang sa VA na I think mas stricto sila kay because lahi sa VA they can just fire you right there and then dili
Mm.
para sa corporate world nga kanang although naapoy mga mga company sa VA nga tagaan pa kanila og time, 'di ba, before ka maghawa. Napoy uban na ako ibawa na right there and then pwede ka mohawa dayon kung
Contractual.
'di ba ing ana. So kadto ayaw ninyo kalimti nga kanang whether asa ka nga kanag yung industry gani kailangan gihapon to nimo tong mga especially ang attitude nato gyud number one mo gyud na ako.
Attitude over skills.
Yeah.
Yes.
Always applies with anything. So dili gyud dili dali maging virtual assistant, and that is why dili pod go easy to recommend anyone, because virtual assistants na work, it's not for the weak. You should be able to manage yourself, you should be disciplined, you should be willing to learn and unlearn things. You will be communicating through online. So lalo na kung so tama to ingon ni mo Jel, kung wala nagagani kayo right attitude in a corporate na setup, what more kung naa sa online nga setup where you can be read differently because you're just chatting, 'di ba?
Yeah.
You're just like communicating online. So really think about that. And I live by attitude over skills, good. So skills you can always learn, but if you have the right na attitude towards work, and you know what you are building for yourself, you know the values and the career that you want to set yourself up, then you know that you will not just wake up, put your laptop in your bed, and then work from there. You treat your work as if you're working in a corporate setup. You ligo, you sa mga wala nagapali. No offense sa mga gusto na dili maligo, okay, fine, because I've been there as well. But I find myself really productive if I really set a routine as if I was working. So I do my morning routine, and then I have my own little office at home na I know when I sit there I am all focused for work. It's not like I just lie in whatever in the couch or wherever and then do my thing, because I really treat it as if work gid siya, like it's in a working environment. And I talk to people online when I'm setting up my meetings in Zoom. I make sure that my camera is on, I make sure that I'm presentable. So really treat it as if it's a work in a normal setting. So it's VA is not an easy job. It's not kahit sino pwede. It's not for the weak. So
Galit
yeah.
na po sila. Galit na po. Galit na po. So yes, I definitely agree. Definitely agree. I've been a VA for not not that long compared to Eshi. I think 10 years, more than 10 years. I've been in the VA world for just 5 years, and I would say, yeah, I definitely agree. You really need to have an established work ethic, if that makes sense, that you can work with supervision and without to really survive and thrive in this kind of job. Another thing, another stereotype that we'd like to kind of debunk today is and I think this made it parang attractive to a lot of people. That's why they want to really, go into the virtual assistant job as well. Is VA life equals mayaman agad.
Diba?
I have a lot of friends who are currently transitioning from the BPO world to the VA world, thinking that, again, there's a pay difference, but it doesn't happen overnight. You have to be aware now once you go and apply for a VA job, especially if it's your first time, you need to accept jobs that you feel might not be that high for a salary, but it will give you experience, if that makes sense. So, it's not yung parang you have to develop certain skills over time as you work with different companies, as you work with, different bosses, and you have to know what type of skill is it that you want to develop. So for example, is it project management? Is it, funnel building? Because the more you niche down, the higher your demand is, and of course the higher the rate. So again, VA life doesn't mean mayaman agad. It has to have it comes with experience, it comes with sacrifice, it comes with really having that attitude to learn more and be, excited to learn new skills. So yeah. Another what you call that stereotype is walang career growth. It's just a sideline. And I think a lot of VAs think that way, and I think meron ding iba na it high turnover kasi nga they think of their job as a sideline. They don't really think of it as long term. Where in fact, you can see a lot of coaches now. If you want to learn about VA, there are a lot of resources. There are a lot of coaches. There are a lot of like online owners na yun ang business
Mhm.
wherein they teach people how to be VAs, and that's a long-term career. I don't think that virtual assistants or freelancers is gonna go away soon. If that makes sense. So, anong tawag dyan? I would say na it's not a sideline if you really want to grow and choose to, thrive in the VA world. You can. It can be a long-term career goal. So yeah. Any other, stereotypes that you wanna debunk? You wanna add?
Depends on what you choose in terms of sideline lang yan, because I have a few friends who really chose it to be a sideline, and I have
Mm,
friends who really chose it to become a career.
true.
There are a few that I know who are parents. I love
Mm,
those that have set an intention that I want to be present for my family, for my kids. And so they really chose na ingon ani lang part-time ang ako ang gusto. I want to be able to
yeah.
serve for a specific number of hours only to specific number to clients, and then the rest of my time will be for my family, and then that's okay. So
Yeah.
it really depends on what you choose, like what Cookie said, on the niche that you want to focus on, and on the skill that you want to enhance and to serve clients with. So if you want career growth, there is loads of career growth that you can do. There is loads of things to learn. In fact, if virtual assistant ka, daghan kay kag pwede buhaton.
Yeah.
Like you can never run out of job, even if naanay AI, even if
Yeah.
naanay advancement, there's still an input from human that needs like support from AI. So
Yeah.
career growth or sideline, you choose, but then attitude over skills.
Balik po tayo dun.
Mabalik kita
Back
sa
to
attitude over
oh, sorry.
skills, no? You
Back to
know,
that.
yeah, I
Anything else
super
you wanna
agree.
agree? Okay, so the very last one, since we already said the highs, the lows, the stereotypes, we're gonna be giving a few practical tips lang naman based on our experience on how you can really enter, if you want to be a virtual assistant, you want to enter the VA world. Um how can we, or how can someone, again, if someone is transitioning from the BPO to the VA world, how can they do that, Mari?
Right. So practical. All right. Ayan. Dumating din tayo, guys, sa practical tips for aspiring VAs. Dagan gid mo utana sa ko eyes. As an encouragement, I would like to share where I started, because I find it really humbling where where I started. Ginakatawa na lang nako siya now, no, pero it really was a decision that I made. So nag-BPO ko no for 4 years. I was offered a really good position, and I told myself, kaya pa ba nako ni, for how many years pa ba nako ni siya kaya buhaton? And then I was already having health issues. So I said, no, okay, mag-stop na ko BPO. And then nag-ana ko, i-try daw nako no. Unsa man ang mag-apply daw ko og mga, like, I applied for SM. Ay, sorry. I applied for SM, mga automobile, mga like, pagtanon ako sa sweldo, gi-compare na ko siya ha sa akong previous. Hindi kaya ito B. Hindi kaya B. So nag-ano ako, sige daw, i-try daw na ako ning kaning online na job. And then Noel back then was already starting. And then dako gid og sweldo si Noel.
Ay, sweldo reveal.
No, but it was project based. So it was setting up branding for clients, and then pero project based. So I said, ay, wala kay HR. Ay, ikaw ga manager mong money, ay, dili consistent ang pay, dili 15-30. I do not like. But then I decided, I said, but then I told myself, okay, if gusto gid nimo ni siya i-try, I chose that. And then wala ko'y laptop. So my first ever na laptop, when I decided and I told myself, okay, kung mag-commit na gid ko ani, mag-online na gid ko, giloan na ko ang laptop. So I remember it was a white HP na later on naga-deteriorate. So I was like, and then I worked my way up and saved up, and then I also had client who gave me laptop. Shoutouts naman sa client na nagbibigay ng laptop. O, di ba? It pays to be nice.
Oh
It
my
pays to be skilled, not to be nice, guys. Ano, pag nice lang, sa magana na, sure, I don't have laptop. My laptop is so slow. ah. No. So, grabe. And then, I remember, grabe gid ang ako ang desire ato na di ko mag-stop og work. Wala ko yung respect for my time. Because, grabe gid ang ako ang gusto i-invest na na learning na to really learn to really acquire new skills. So daghan kog na learn about social media back then, and then matulog ko late murag sinuwal magana na, is there no tomorrow? No, there's no tomorrow. So I really, so tip is number one, have a laptop. Kung wala kay laptop, do not go to me and ask, ang saan din ang VA? So anyway, gilaw na ko ang first na HP computer. And then I work like there's no tomorrow. I do not advise, but really daghan na kayo og training videos karon to
Yeah.
learn to upskill. So really be open to learning new skill and really find your niche. And guys, to be honest, dako kay nga factor that I started in BPO.
Mm.
It really helped in my com skills, in communicating with clients, in dealing with different scenarios online. So ako it's not a common advice, pero if you want to be virtual assistant, why don't you apply first in a BPO and have a
Yeah.
training there? Because the training for BPO, like communication skills and everything else, they also have computers para fast ang imong typing, so mag-reply sa Slack and everything. I would consider BPO as a good training ground. So if murag you're considering, maybe try that training first, and then they also get paid trainings, di ba? Sa
Yeah.
mga BPO ka,
Yeah.
o di ba? Nag-training ka na, may hidden agenda ka na, na kapag nabayaran ka pa.
Oh my God.
Sorry sa mga BPO sa Davao, ginawang training ground for
Pwede
VA.
siya hack.
No, pero naman ko yung BPO karon na like what you said, kato kung half and half. So hybrid sila.
Yeah.
They can work from home, and then also they can go sa office. Para sa mga, kung gusto ka maging extrovert, then mag-office ka kadali. Then gusto na po ni mo introvert, then mag-ano ka kadali. So,
Yeah.
then start from there. You always have to start somewhere, and then start small, and then, learn your way up.
True. Thanks for that, Mari. Thanks for the hack as well. No, just kidding. We're not encouraging everyone to go to a BPO and then after training resign. No, but it's a good. What we're saying is it's a good training ground because again, that's our background. For me and Ashley. How about you, my friend?
For me, coming from corporate world, kato ganing mga friends na ako nga nag-ask dati nga kanang, "Sir, unsaon pagsulod sa BPO? Ay, unsaon pagsulod as virtual assistant ba?" Ano ko nga kanang, for me magud naswertean lang ko kay kanang naa ko yung mga kaila nga kana ganing naa sa industry na, and then nakapasar sa interview and all that. I think tama kayo tong giingon niya siya nga kailangan gud nimo kanang murag ano sa gud nimo imong self gani na kay intention nga really to work sa as a virtual assistant, tapos ang imong mga skill set po dapat prepared po ka, especially ang communication skills gyud kay very important siya kay dato na ko na-realize pod ba na mas challenging ang communication sa online job compared sa face to face kay kato
Yeah.
ang tone sa imong pag-reply very important kay basig man gud alahi man gud diba sa face to face kay kanang murag mas magamay nimo ang imong tono or the way ka magstorya ing ana gani. So kanang katong nagareklamo nga burnout na kay ko sa ako ang trabaho kana gani gusto na ko kaayo og work from home na set up kay kanang hayahay and all that, pero dapat ma-realize ninyo nga kanang ang pressure is always there. Naay pressure sa corporate world, na po gihapoy pressure sa online job. It's just the same. It's just how you manage gyud the pressure lang gyud, and kanang how you handle it properly ba. Ing ana lang gyud na siya nod kanang na I've stumbled this kanang quote ba nga kanang what you're not changing, you're choosing gani na ano. So kanang kung dili na gid na nimo gusto nga klase nga job, then mangita sa kaog kato ganing murag ayo dayon og hawa dayon, di ba? Make sure na kato imong kabalhinan nga job, be it online or even the corporate world, kay it's just the same moingon ta na kanang naamang gud gihapoy maayo nga corporate job na kanang you can go up sa ladder ba nga kanang successful po and
Yeah.
all that, pero kanang depende gud gihapon na sa imo di ba, kung maningkamot ka kay I've seen nga kanang like you guys ba na successful man sa online job, and then naman pud kay mga friends na successful man pud sila sa corporate world, di ba? So it works in both industry pud ba, dili necessarily na kanang ang murag dadto na gyud ta dapat tanan sa kanang sa online job, di ba? Kay the economy dili man pud na pwede na makasupport na ano tanan sa online job, di ba? What I'm trying to say is really kabalo ka dapat unsa ang imong target market, based pod sa imong skill set, asa pod ka dapat padulong, ingana ba i-set pod nimo dapat ang imuhang mga intentions o i-prepare pod nimo imuhang mga sarili lalo na sa katong mga younger generations gani nga kanang mo try lang og corporate job tapos nagtuo sila nga sayon lang kaayo ning online job mo ano dayon dato pero without kanang really preparing themselves ba na kanang it's a different kind of war po di ay kung naa ka sa online industry gani 'di ba so make sure na kanang kabalutaan na i-prepare na to ato ang hunahuna nga kanang there's always pressure, there's always kanang kato ang work ethics dapat gyud strong gihapon kaayo kung unsa ka sa corporate world at dapat gani mas ano ka sa kanang online job kay
Yeah.
syempre kanang murag wala na mag-remind sa imuha ba nga kanang hulo na day meeting sa ing aning oras na day kanang task nga dapat nako humanon sa ing ani nga time ing ana gani wala na tong mga supervisor nimo nga mag-remind gud ba kay di ba most sa mga online jobs manggod ka nang dili man gud naga-micromanage ang imong mga leaders, 'di ba? They are there to support you but ikaw dapat proactive gud ka sa imong position or sa imong task given to you by the company or from your supervisor or whoever it is. So
Yeah.
kato i-prepare inyong sarili and then kuan pud gyud kanang kabalo ka kung dili ka mag-expect dayon ba nga kanang dako dayon akong sweldo kay nagsugod gani ka dayon I mean, 'di ba basig magug nagtuo ka nga because you've worked in a corporate world tapos pagsulod nimo sa online job nag-expect din ka nga ing ani na dapat imong sud ayaw pa dayon 'di ba? Kanang build your ano sa gyud mo portfolio ba nga
Yeah,
ginaingon
true.
'di ba nga kanang i balahan sa nimo imong kaugalingon before ka makapili og better paying na mga projects or
Yeah.
company nga who will pay you better pud gyud. Kay kanang kanang naambog ko na kanang friends gani nga family sila ba iyang husband naga-work as kanang sa mura IT man to na industry pero work from home setup kanang siya ang naga-support sa iyang family ana gani so naagyoy gwapo nga kanang padulungan kung mag-online job ka it's just that kailangan gid pud nimo siya hard work
Yeah.
'di ba dili lang pud pwede nga kanang banjing-banjing ra ka dira o kanang unsa man.
Agree, agree. And another, I think one of the things that we have to take advantage, if you're asking yourself, how can I transition to, having or being a virtual assistant, is we have AI now. You can always ask ChatGPT, hey, what skills do I need to develop in order to transition to this type of job? AI is there to really assist you and help you. You don't have to be afraid of it. You have to kind of take advantage of AI. So you can learn resources from AI, and it really pays to have that attitude of wanting to learn new skills. So, you don't go into the VA world talaga without having yung parang bala, to whatever like job you are trying to apply. So, there are a lot of options for you. My Facebook groups wherein they teach how to become a VA. There's also free workshops. I think there's also paid ones if you want to go yung talagang advanced talaga when it comes to developing your skills. But the most important,
Certifications.
yeah, there's certifications. You really have to invest in yourself. So you don't just wake up one day and say, I want to be a VA. You have to really do the work to really transition if you want to, have this kind of laptop lifestyle, as they would say. Because for me, that's one of the biggest perks talaga, where you can work wherever. So you want to travel, you can still bring work. You don't have to. Although maganda din mag-travel when you don't have anything in mind when it comes to work. It's just that it's one of the perks wherein you don't miss out on anything, especially travel when you have work. So, if that's your question, there are a lot of online resources. You just have to really research and have that attitude to learn new things, and of course make sure that you also, once you get into the job, self-care din. So I know that it can be very invigorating to have a new job. It can be somehow addicting. For me, I can speak for myself, wherein you have a specific outcome, you want to make sure that it's done. It can be, I would say, addicting because of the fulfillment that comes after, but make sure that you set your boundaries as well, because just like what any type of job, burnout will come talaga if you don't really know how to take care of yourself. And yeah, practice self-care talaga in any types of job. Okay, so medyo mahaba-haba po ang aming conversation. Yeah, you wanna.
Those that I think I want to give like a takeaway for everyone if they really want to start, like when I said to really commit on it, I said, yes, Ash, mag-commit na gid ko, Ash, mag-ano ko, iki, nag-loan na gid siya laptop. Oh my God, Ash, yun ka, mag-loan. Nana ko yung laptop, swipe na ko sa akong friend, now what to do? Hala, ni ano siya. So guys, no, here's where to start. Of course, have a resume and use AI to really build the kind of needs na gina require for any applications. What to do is to send at least 5 to 10 applications. 5 to 10
True.
applications, and you get, there's not a chance if you really lined up a good resume and CV, nag-AI ni mo. Huy, pati ang profile picture karon is
Wag
so
naman.
expectation versus reality. Si client, magana si client, pagtanong si mo, who are you? Ayaw pag kayo, guys. Ayaw pag kayo AI. Pero there are guidelines ha. So there's a lot of help that is available in AI right now who can help you out with your resume. So no, wala gyud. So
Yeah.
and then submit all those applications. There is of course there's online jobs.
Yep.
Di na pod pwede mag ano
No, I
mention.
think we're good.
Okay.
We're good.
So there's online jobs. There is what's this, Upwork?
Yeah.
There's
Indeed.
Indeed, yes. So go to these. You can also AI them. Like, what are the
True.
application
Exactly.
sites in PH right now? Send at least 5 to 10 resumes. There's not a chance na at least di laman ka mahatagan og interviews.
True.
Give your best shot in the interviews, and then really, really take it from there. Like, learn new skill. Really take the chance on a client that also took a chance on you, and really just give your best shot. So moto ko ang ano tip to really just get started on sending out those resumes and then get that interview.
Yeah, 100%. That's a really, what you call that? About a great start, Maddie, for anyone who's aspiring to become a VA. Now we are closing. You know po ang aming what do you call that, last topic, but we just want to remind everybody that, the VA life is not all glam. There are struggles in it as well. It's a real career that can open, a lot of opportunities for you all around the world. So, and yeah, don't let stereotypes define you, right?
Yes, exactly.
If you want to be a VA, own it, learn the skills, and again, make the career yours. So, if you have come to the very end of the podcast, Maddie,
Congratulations, you win one laptop. One HP laptop. Wala gihinayan gid ni wala kong adyo.
and yes, anything you want to add, my friend?
Yeah, whether to add ba na sa corporate ka or sa online job ka, just remember na kanang katong ginaingon ni Eshi ba na kanang attitude over skill set gud gihapon, kay ang skills ma-learn gud na siya guys, sa ayaw gud na ninyo kalimte, pero ang attitude, kung wala jud kay tarong na
Oh my
attitude,
gosh.
wala jud kay kapaingnan, I just remember, I mean, coming from corporate world ba nga kanang dugay pud nag-work,
True.
nag-work na pud gani, very important gud ang attitude gud.
True.
Na mao gyud na ako ang always nga ginaingon, especially sa katong mga medyo bata-bata pa gani nga ang relationship nato with one another will go a long way gani, kay dili man ka permanente gud sa isa ka company, di ba, na magiuba na kanang magbalhin-balhin, pero if you've kana ganing nakatanom ka og maayo nga relationship sa imong mga kauban, dili ka maulaw mo adto-adto, then it is easier for you to be recommended. Kay
Yeah.
kung dili pud maayo ang imong relationship or wala po kay tarong na work ethics, kinsa man po'y supervisor or katong imong team leader na mag-recommend sa mo, and you need that kind of kanang kato ganing murag reference gani, 'di ba? Kailangan man na sa imong future na employer or sa imong employment nimo. So remember that corporate or online industry, ang ano gyud, attitude is really important gyud. Ayaw na ninyo kalimti.
Agree. And yes, thank you so much, Maddie and Jello. If you have come to this part of the podcast, thank you so much. Please hit a like, subscribe, share. And yes, we'll definitely see you on the next podcast. Again, this is Cookie,
This is Jello.
It's she.
and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.